let's talk about where in the world I've been. I've been in the bed. So, as you guys know, it was pretty well documented here on my YouTube channel that I had some type of upper respiratory infection or something like that. Got tested for everything. It was not COVID, but it was just really lingering for a long time. Like even at the time that I shot my overview of my 2021, and then also even when I was shooting the goals video and as I was preparing to do all of that stuff, what you did not see was how many cleared throats, coughs, and all of that I had to edit out of those videos because I was still recovering. But I was recovering. And I thought it was going well, still concerned about how long it was lingering. I had been talking to my husband and my sister, who was a nurse, about going back to the doctor because I was concerned with how long it was taking me to fully be 100%. And then I had a day where I just tanked, just completely tanked. We were over at the job site filming a little piece, and I literally held it together just long enough for that. And then I was like, I gotta go home. I felt dizzy. I was so just fatigued and tired and exhausted, and I just did not feel good. So I took a COVID test. You already know what the result of that was, right? My whole house was positive for COVID, so we don't really know for sure where it originated, but the only thing that really makes sense is that it was brought home from school because our schools here don't have any type of mask mandate or I'm not gonna get into that. My babies have been masked and fully vaccinated, which I think was probably the only reason that we were not all very ill. I was the only one who was like sick. It's because I was already sick when I got sick, and so you know. Anyway, it is time for me to get back to work, and my goal, one of my goals for the top of the year was for a full-length release to be my first thing at the top of the year. And what I was really excited to get back to, had a photo shoot and all of that. Like like let's go, let's get into it. Predators Motorcycle Club. But like I said at the top of this, we got to talk about this book, y'all. Because when I tell you there is so much pressure, so much stress, so much anxiety for me over this book, I'm barely I'm barely holding on. But I am holding on because I love what I do and I love these characters. I love this story. This story is furthering the introduction of the Predators Motorcycle Club, which happened in Maybe One More Time, which is the last book of the Vegas Nights series. You guys met Blue Garrett, and he made an impression. He made an impression, him and his crew. So we are exploring Tati's story, who was also introduced in Maybe One More Time. She was his vice president, badass, boss, girl boss, all the adjectives to describe Miss Tatiana Tate. Where the difficulty comes in, I think, is that I'm such a smart person that I decided to further complicate this whole motorcycle club thing by making her hero a thorn. And you may not know what that means, but long story short, a thorn is a former assassin who was part of an organization known as the Garden, and the entire organization is just like a mess. Like I don't even know why I don't even know why I wrote that, but I did. I decided to bring this like intensity over here to this intensity and join them together, and So we're dealing with a lot here. And just beyond my kind of normal, how are people going to react to this? How are people going to enjoy it? Am I making sure that I'm taking care of my characters and taking care of readers who might relate to these characters in unfortunate ways? Like all of that stuff that's normally swirling in my head. We have on top of it that Black Motorcycle Club in contemporary romance is not like the most common thing. You guys are really excited about it, which I love. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that you guys are excited about it, but I'm also like, I can't let them down. And so it's stress. And that's not all. This book has a lot happening with it. And if you have heard me talk about writing, or you're super familiar with my catalog, you know that I do not write multiple books on the same characters. Like that's just not me. Like I'm one and done with my couples. You might see them for on some cameos or something like that, but you're not going to get a whole nother book on the same two characters. I don't do that. So it's funny because at the top of 2021, I did something that I don't really like doing, and always kind of said, I don't do that in my writing. And I wrote about a married couple, and it was fine. It was fine. It's one of my more popular titles. People enjoyed it. It was fine. It was fine. And at the top of 2022, we are writing two books about the same characters. Let me explain why. It's getting too long, and I know some of you guys are gonna be like, "No, I love a long book. Don't play me. Don't give me no novellas." I'm not saying that it's gonna be two novellas. It is going to be two novel length books, not like huge long novels, but as I surpass, an amount of story, I need to split it because that is what the story is telling me it calls for. And I have to not be so stuck in my ways that I don't do what the story is telling me it's calling for. I'm not going to front. Part of it, yes, I don't want to put out a 150,000 word book. I just don't want to. And so I'm not. So that's part of it. But I also don't want to set a precedent in this series, because I know that not every book in this Predators Motorcycle Club series is going to be 150,000 word behemoth of a novel, and I don't want them to be lopsided. Like, I want to operate in a way that makes sense. I'm gonna throw you off a cliff with book one, but book two is coming right behind it, like literally right behind it. So, conduct yourself accordingly. Oh, no, this is not a decision that I arrive at lightly. This has actually been kind of bumping around in my mind for quite a while, for weeks while I was sick. And before I was sick, just kind of looking at what I already had, going through it, looking at what I have still left to write, and just coming to an understanding that this is not one book. And to even further explain what has happened with this book. So as may know, I stopped writing this book. I started writing this book in 2021, and I put it down in October, like a few weeks before Halloween. I put it down. Something was not sitting right with me. Something was not curling over with it for me. And in addition to that, I wanted to go ahead and write Restored, which ended up being the next thing I released. It ended up being my October release. I wanted to finish out my paranormal. And because, my brain was like, I need to stop. I need to give this, some room. it was, you know, it was easy for me to put it down. And that was my first sign. The fact that it was easy for me to put it down. It was easy for me to stop. So I wrote Restored, and then I wrote Thank Me Later, which was the collaboration with Nicole Falls and Alexandra Warren. That was our Thanksgiving, our holiday releases. I wrote that, and then I have not released anything since November, and it's about to be February, which you also, you know, may or may not know is abnormal for me. That's coming on 3 months with with no release. And part of it is because, yes, I was sick for like a month and a half. And so, yes, that definitely factors into it. But I think a lot of it was also the fact that I needed to sit with this book a bit more. And I've done another thing that I rarely do. Like it does always happen when I put a book down. And I've definitely put books down and come back to them. And those books always get a good response when I do that. But I've definitely put books down and come back to them before. But I am doing heavy rewrites in this project, which is not a thing that I do. I wrote what I wrote kind of author. I'm not one of those people who feels like, well, the first draft is trash and all of that. Like, I do not subscribe to that. The vast majority of my catalog is what would be known as a first draft, because I write down what the characters and what the story requires. It gets edited, but I don't do all of that. Like, that's just not part of my process. But this story required it. And it's always about what the story requires. It's not about, I can't get stuck on, well, this isn't what I do. They don't care. They being the characters, and also they being the readers. Y'all don't care. You just want the book to slap. Like, yes, it's you want it to give, and I want it to give, and so I'm going to, you know, I'm it ain't about I've got to do what the story requires. But anyway, heavy rewrites in this one. And I mean, not my normal, you know, going through, oh, you know, that sentence is a little awkward. Let me rephrase that. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about adding scenes, weaving in characters, all of that, and doing it in a way that feels seamless, doing it in a way that doesn't feel like I just plug some stuff in, which is difficult and which takes time. And so that is what I have been working on. I've only added about 20,000 words to what I had, to where I stopped before. But I think those 20,000 words are huge impact. And I'm excited about it because I feel like I've been able to pull more depth from the characters. I've been able to just kind of just give it more. I was talking to Nicole, and one of the things that I was saying to her was, I want this book to, like, I want full immersion. I want people to feel like they are in there, like we in here with these characters. And so that has been a consistent goal as I'm going through this. I am analyzing every word, every line, everything is getting analyzed in pursuit of that fully immersive type of experience. And I really hope I really hope that it's going like I want it to go. I was supposed to be putting a book out this month. When I showed y'all that promo of the two of Tati and Onyx on the bike, I was like, this month, and it was in a moment where I think that was like the week when I was, I was feeling better, but I wasn't 100%. And then I think the next week I got sick. But it it's not gonna be this month. It's not gonna be this month for book one. It'll be February. It'll probably early on in February. I've still got, I've still got some bearings to kind of get, but it won't be, it won't be late February. It'll be early, it'll be kind of early in February for book one. And then hopefully very soon after that, I don't hold me to this, but I would honestly push for a February release for book two as well. And if not February, then March. But if this is not going to be a thing where I'm going to make you wait like years or anything like that. This is not going to be that. I just need to make sure that this story has the breathing room that it needs, and make sure that it has the pacing and all of that it needs in order to really fully tell this story in the way that I want it to be told. And this is not like an easy decision to come to, because I have to open a book and close a book in a compelling place that gets you to come back for the second book. And then I have to reopen the book and then close the second book. And we have this, it's there's the romantic element, of course, but we also have this really sort of high level, high detail suspense / thriller story that is happening in the background, or not in the background. It's definitely in the foreground. Like, we have that happening as well. And so it's a balance that I've got to strike. And I just want to make sure that I do it right. And I think that the way that I make sure that I do it right is by, again, two books. I'm not going to make any big pronouncements or anything like that about being back and, you're going to see me every day, and I'm going to, because I don't know. I don't know. The past 6 weeks have taught me that I don't know. I don't know. And so I'm not going to make it seem like I do. But I'm working. Always developing this craft of mine, and always trying to just do my absolute best at all these all this wide range of things that I decide to take on. And I appreciate you guys rocking with me as I navigate it all. As always, thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me, not just on the books or in the books or with the books, but with this channel and my channel with my husband, the home built channel. If you didn't know about that, you are interested in watching our process for building our next home, we have a YouTube channel, Build a Home with Byron and Christina, and we are going through that. We are actually going to be filming some stuff, filming some content for that today. It's a process, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it, and yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. You can add No Longer Afraid to your TBR on Goodreads now. I'll make sure to put that link below. It's not available for pre-order or anything yet. It will be exclusively available on my site. I don't know when I'm going to put it on Amazon, but it will come to Amazon. Look, Jeff has this thing locked up. It's gonna come to Amazon, but I would appreciate it if you purchase from my site instead. It'll be exclusive to the site for a couple weeks at least, and then it'll go to Amazon. The same will be true for the second book in the series. I think that's it. If you have questions or anything, absolutely always be sure to let me know. Like, I am always open to that. If you have questions, if you have video suggestions, all that, give it to me. I'm ready. Okay. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and let this one go from here. I am still recovering, honestly, and I'm very thirsty, so I'm gonna go handle that.